Alright. Welcome to the Oceania Racing League Div 2, round number 11 here for Suzuka. We're in qualifying. I'm joined by J-Man in the comms box. How are you, J-Man?
It's good to be back for another week of Div 2 here in Japan. Bit of rain around in qualifying, so we'll see how that shapes up the grid for today. It should be a good race as well.
Yeah, so qualifying starting in the wet, but is meant to go to dry, so we might not even see drivers go out. They might just go out when it goes dry, potentially.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe a couple of drivers might just want to get a quick feel for the track, because did Kizzy have a quali ban? Must have. Yeah, so maybe just go out, get a feel for the track, because when it does dry up, which it's supposed to, you might only get one, maybe two, if you're lucky, and we do see a driver coming out. I believe that's Cozzy.
Yeah, I would say the same. No, I think it's Frosty.
That's Frosty, actually.
Yeah.
So Frosty coming out on the Inters, and I believe a Ferrari's coming out as well. So, yep, they're going to have a bit of a warm-up. Obviously, not going to be the fastest times that compared to what we'll see at the end of the session when it dries up a little bit. But you never know with the weather. It might not get as good as people want it to be by the end. And I think there might be a few mistakes made later in the session with people pushing too hard. And maybe we could see a surprise up the order in some of the rankings for the drivers as well.
Yeah, obviously, pressure's also off for Viper1 as he won the championship, so he might just be looking to maybe support his teammate to make sure he can get P2.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Spark is, I believe, 6 points off DXman, who took the lead, or took second place in the championship off him after taking the full points allocation in Singapore last time out. So that'll be an interesting little battle between them. And the Constructors battle is also interesting as well. Second place in the Constructors, I believe, is Alpha Tauri or Mercedes. And Aston Martin in 9th. So second and 9th in the Constructors are separated by 27 points, and all the other teams in between that. So you got Williams a mile out in front, and then you got Alfa Romeo a long way behind at the end, and then you got all the teams bunched together. So still a long season, and you can take us through Frosty's opening lap of qualifying.
Yeah, so obviously no DRS in the wet, but come the race when it is cloudy, there will be DRS, and then now a quick right-hander into turn 1, and then it's back to the right again. It's just a fast double right-hander. It's not very grippy through there, and now as you enter the famous S section, you just want to hold the lap together and make sure it doesn't fall away from you to the right, to the left, and then to the right again before you come back across to the left. It's so tricky, and especially this left-hander here, there's just a straightaway gravel outside that curve on the right-hand side, so using all the track is crucial, but also very nervous to do, because you think you'll hit the gravel as Frosty has gone off into the gravel at the Degners, and yeah, that's another very tricky corner of the track, and he'll probably back out of his lap.
A lot of drivers really struggling in the wet here, probably also due to the, as you mentioned before, the dry setups that most of the drivers will be using, knowing that it's going to get wet later. Frogman setting a purple through the first sector. But, it just goes off track. Lucky to keep the car moving forward there. And now comes towards this hairpin here. And nice and slow through there, which is what we're going to see a lot of drivers do. It is looking quite wet out there at the moment. He's struggling for traction here, Frogman, but he manages to keep the car going. Impressive for him so far. And now coming through, very cautious through that part of the track. And yeah, you can just see how tough it is out there at the moment in those wet conditions. But Frogman has got through the tough part. Now he just needs to get through the final chicane. Frosty sets a 147, but I think we'll see a fair bit faster than that as Frogman comes to the final chicane here. And the charge to the line as Churchy goes 140.2. What can Frogman put up in response? It's a 141.7. So we're going to see some varied times here today.
Yeah, so Milan now coming up to the final chicane. What will he be able to do is a good question. Obviously, Aston has had a very recent, strong little charge in Div 2, and they've been looking quite pacey, and I'm sure the man sat next to me in the comms box will be very happy with that.
Yeah, fantastic. It's been really good. A good recovery from where we were in the championship. So, yeah, very impressed with Milan, who's gotten a lot more consistent, and of Noah, who's just come in and produced some incredible performances for the team as well.
Yeah, so I'm just on board with Rapid Mickey, but I think I want to talk about something that's not very much talked about. I think it goes a bit under the rug, and that's the overall constructors. How is that looking, do you think, Jamin?
Yeah, I'll just have a quick look at it. And so Ferrari on top at the moment by about 70 points on Williams. Ferrari, obviously, with that Div 1 dominance. Ryan Cox and MX. MX leading the championship, and Ryan Cox picked up a couple of wins as well since he joined. And then Williams, you've got with the Div 2 dominance, so they're completely the opposite. But obviously, one good weekend can completely change it. So 70 points is actually not that much when you think about you've got 4 drivers all across 2 divisions as Frosty goes fastest there. And then you've also got Aston Martin third. They're a little bit further off, about 70 points back from Williams. So I think the most interesting battle will be between Ferrari and Williams, sort of a Div 1 versus Div 2 rivalry there.
Yeah, obviously, like, the Div 2 drivers for Ferrari, I think they have the ability to step it up and get that edge over the Williams guys in the overall stand of things, because that's really where Ferrari's been suffering. Mickey has just really not been performing. Neither really has Haroldinho. They've just been having quite a fair few poor races, and I think just one good race from the Ferrari guys in Div 2 could change the dynamic completely, as Mickey actually sets P2 there.
X-Men goes quickly behind in P3. Mickey had a bit of a kiss of the wall there on the way through, but didn't affect his lap time too much. Oh, he's gone straight on. Oh, gee, I'm not sure if you're on his on-board there, but he just went straight on and lost his front wing.
And I was watching Vipamon, and he was purple and 5 tenths up in Sector 1, but Vipamon then went wide and invalidated and nearly lost it.
Yeah, so Mickey's lucky to still be in the session there. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Mickey, after switching to Mercedes, really hasn't put in a complete performance, which is a point you brought up. And Haroldinho hasn't been able to find any form. We know he's a good driver. We've seen it previously, but just hasn't been able to put it together for a whole race in the last this season so far.
Yeah, I think obviously Haroldinho has really big potential. We saw it last season actually, but he just hasn't really put it together this season. I don't know why. Maybe he took a break and just never really recovered from that break or what, but he just really hasn't been where he was last season.
Yeah. McLaren also in the Div 2 constructors have really started to make a jump, as well as DXman's sort of just leading the team by himself at the moment. And they picked up 40 or 34 points last week, all from him. And they were previously 9th. So they've gone up to, I believe, 6th. And they're still climbing if DXman, speaking of him, gets the fastest lap as well. So if he can keep his form up, they'll be looking for a good constructors finish as well.
Yeah, I think, it all comes down to these last couple of rounds and where the final pecking order will be. I think there's one team in Div 2, though, that is definitely cemented to last place in the constructors. It definitely hurts me to say, but Alfa Romeo has really not had a good Div 2 season.
Yeah, there's just sort of been inconsistency with the drivers. There's been a bit of turnover there. Churchy definitely has the pace to be getting top 5 finishes. Obviously, just hasn't had probably the rub of the green, and the other teammate has sort of been rotated around a little bit. And yeah, that's probably been the main issue for them. but they've still got plenty of time. 5 rounds is a long time in the season. We've seen that with Aston Martin as well, who've tripled their points in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly point out, the rain has stopped, so I think it'll be dry very shortly in this session.
Yep. Yeah, still quite wet on the track, so if you're trying to go out on the softs now, you wouldn't be faring awfully well. But there's enough time in qualifying for the track to dry up, and I think we should see some. I think you'll struggle to get 2 dry runs in. Maybe you have to go out and fuel up for a couple runs, but you definitely won't be able to. I think only 1 set of soft tyres will be used.
Yeah, I think as now you see it's getting drier, I'm looking at Phoenix and he's just going faster and faster and faster, and I think we'll see that as now it is getting drier. So it'll be interesting to see what the pace is like when the dry setups actually come into their own, and what lap times we can see out of everyone. I think my bet for pole's probably Viper on DXmond, but obviously it'll be interesting to see if there's any dark horses in this session, like maybe Sparks or Mickey.
Yeah, you can see Phoenix has got speed here. He's one of the few drivers that's still out there, and this is going to be probably fastest yet comfortably by 1.3 seconds. So what will be interesting here, and Wolf sets his first lap of the session and goes bang faster, 4 tenths faster than Phoenix. So what will be interesting is they won't have as many opportunities on the slicks as you normally would in a qualifying, and that this lap is going to matter way more than all the other ones that have been set so far. So you definitely do not want to be making invalidating, as DXman is coming out on the softs, or he is coming out the softs in a minute. He's ready to go, but it might be a little bit too early.
Yeah, I don't think it is quite dry enough. Maybe by the end of his outlap though, because as I was on board with Frosty there, you can definitely see a dry line starting to form quite quickly. So we'll have to see, as Frosty just ran off into the gravel. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we can watch DXman's outlap when he actually comes out of the garage at some point and just see how much grip he's got. But right now, I'm going to turn my focus to Haroldinho, who's starting his flying lap as he heads into turn 1. Flat out nearly towards the apex there. That's exactly what you do in the dry conditions. So you can definitely see it's getting drier out there. The inters will probably start to overheat towards the end of the lap now as it gets drier. So you've got to be careful as you enter Sector 2 and actually through the S's. Just take care of those tyres just a little bit more than you would. The lap time will still be faster. And Haroldinho had a pretty bad run there through the S's, as now into the Degners. Just tap the brakes at the 50-metre board, shift down a gear, and then down 2 gears as you head into Degner 2. He's getting held up by an AlphaTauri, as the AlphaTauri, almost brake tests him there. Had to rely on Haroldinho getting out of the way, otherwise that could have been a big crash in qualifying. Haroldinho did go purple to Sector 1 as he exits the hairpin. Ran a bit wide, but used it to just propel himself on the exit there, as it looks like he aquaplanes. But it's definitely time for the dries now. There's a couple puddles, but other than that, you can see the track's pretty much dry. As through spoon curve, don't run out wide, and he has done exactly that. And if you fall out of the undulation on that apex, you're going to run out really wide and lose a lot of time, which is exactly what Haroldinho just did. And yeah, it's bone dry out there, so maybe we might see Haroldinho bail out and just make sure he can get a soft tyre run in, which I think would probably be the smarter thing to do.
I don't think he will. I think he's going to be tempted by those 2 purples. And he's going to, probably bring... No, oh, he faked it. He's going to come home and set the fastest lap. And I think an important thing to note is, because the conditions are constantly improving, the drivers will probably be aiming to start their lap at the very last second that they possibly can. So I think what we'll be seeing is a bit of a few slow drivers just trundling around the track, trying to be the last driver to set a lap in the session, because that can be the difference, a couple tenths difference that'll get them higher up the order as well.
Oh, I'm just surprised what Vipermon's just done. DRS has just been enabled. He's on his softs. He's gone to start a lap and he just came into the pit lane.
Has he got front wing damage potentially?
Maybe. Churchy. Oh, big yellow flag. What's going on here? Probably just a car going slow. Churchy's just coming through Sector 3 if you want to watch his commentator of his lap when he starts.
And Haroldinho's got to be quick as well. He's not going to have a lot of time. He's not back in the pits yet. So yeah, he's got to be pretty speedy about it. So Churchy will be the first soft runner to set a lap in this session, and we're going to see pretty much all the drivers out on the track at the same time here. We've still got 17 left in the qualifying session, only not Kizzy, who's serving his qualifying ban. So here goes Churchy. He's had a 3-minute out lap, so we're going to see what this builds up to here as he crosses the line down the main straight here, and now can go hard into turn 1 here with the dry conditions as the Alpine goes off the track to avoid him there, and makes his way through the S's here. He's done all right, and he's keeping it together, and obviously going way faster than anyone has before. So these lap times are going to get smashed, but that is going to be costly, invalidating the lap there, and that's the last thing you want to be doing, especially when you don't have many chances to set a lap here.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be costly for Churchy, but Milan is now starting his lap, so we'll go to Milan instead, as he got a very nice run through turn 1 there, through the S's. It's going to be almost flat out now through here, just little lifts and just maybe a tap of the brakes, depending on how strategical for the straight line you've gone with the setup. And he might have a race setup, but we'll have to see. And through the Degners, just a light tap of the brake. I think you can, if you have a medium downforce setup, you can get away with actually just lifting off. But he's just tapped the brakes now into the hairpin. There's going to be a lot more mechanical grip here now in the dry. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you get close enough to the apex, obviously. That hairpin, it's actually better to just miss it a tiny bit as it propels you onto a better exit. And through here, I think the exit is more crucial as you can't the spoon curve. And Milan has had a very nice run through here. You can just see how much the car's gripping up, but I don't actually know how fast this lap's going to be, as we haven't seen any other dry runs, but it looks like it's been pretty okay so far, as he's going to head into 130 off, flat out through here. Make sure you keep it to the left to maximize the lap time, and braking hard. Dead Heat does a 32.9 in the AlphaTauri. He's the first dry runner to set a lap here. Will Milan be able to match or go faster than Dead Heat? It looks like it. He's going to set a 1 minute 30.4, smashing Dead Heat out of the park now. And SNF Wolf is about to start a lap.
Yeah, that's quick. Frosty's probably going to be the last driver to cross the line, so he's played the tactical game here, although he does need to pick it up. He's got 30 seconds. But we'll look to... I reckon we might have a look at Vipermon here as he goes through Sector 1. DXman's gone faster than Milan. That's a 30.0 there. So Vipermon now making his way through Sector 1. Let's see what he can do. He's gone 4 seconds up, obviously, on his previous time. It's a purple sector as well. And now into the hairpin Vipermon. He's only going to have one chance at this here, as qualifying is about to end. The order is not is looking very unusual at the moment. Firestrike goes third here. So the top drivers of Noah, Vipermon, Spark, I'm looking at, they only have one chance here, and the pressure's really going to be on them here. So Vipermon now making his way through Sector 2, and we'll see what sort of lap time comparisons come up here as he comes down the back straight. Vipermon now he's 1:13.0 through the second sector here, and now coming up towards the final chicane. It's going to come up quickly here, and the laps look pretty good so far. Does pretty well. Is it going to be good enough for pole position? It's looking alright at the moment. Vipermon, yes it is, a 1:29.9, the first driver to do it. And Vipermon has provisional pole now, and we'll have a look to see if anyone can challenge him. Frosty's invalidated, so he's out. Alright, we'll look at Wolf then. So Wolf coming out of the final corner. Oh, Of Noah's gone pole position for Aston Martin. Can Wolf beat it? No, he can't. But Of Noah beats Vipermon. And Mickey's probably the last driver to compete here.
Yeah, so Mickey looking quite fast, so let's see what he can manage. But I don't think it's been great for him. We'll see what he can do to the line.
Actually.
Fire.
Oh, it's not bad.
P2. Firestrike backs out of his lap, out of fuel. It looks
So
like.
everyone's finished now. Of Noah has another pole position, his second in Division 2, 4/10 faster than Vipermon in the end. And as I said, that starting the lap later has really helped Noah and Mickey there. And they've really taken advantage of that one chance they got. DXman will count himself unlucky because his lap was probably set maybe a bit too early. He still had time on the clock when he finished it.
I think same with
It's gonna be-
Vipermon started quite late. I mean, quite early. So maybe he might have been able to go for pole as the track evolved. But still P3 for Vipermon and what was it, P4 for DXmon. They'll easily have quite a I think simple time when it comes to getting through Ovnar and Mickey in the race.
Yeah, so that intermediate lap for Harold didn't work out for him. He didn't get back onto the softs. I'm not sure if he got a lap in or not, but he wasn't able to improve. So yeah, maybe he should have pitted. Just wanted to see the first place purple sectors, but unfortunately for him, it's not ended too well. So, an interesting race here. Mickey on the front row. I can't remember the last time he was that high up on the grid, so he'll be looking to definitely take advantage of that as well. So this will be an interesting race here.
I think it was Hungary last time. He was in the front row, maybe. Which was quite a while ago, I think. Wasn't Hungary like round 6? Anyway, so we're gonna head now into the main event here, the race for Suzuka in Div 2, and I think your candidates for the win is just gonna be pretty much that top 4. I think maybe Mickey might drop back a little bit since he was the last one to cross the line, so he did probably have a couple tenths that he gained just from that alone, so we'll have to see what he can manage starting on the front row. But if Mickey can maybe get past Ovnoa into turn 1, that could be his best shot at holding it. But safety cars are probably inevitable, especially with Suzuka being such a tricky circuit. So it'll be interesting to watch as we come to 5 red lights here for the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's... what is going on? What is that McLaren doing? And it's lights out and away we go. Wolf's AI has just done the most interesting start I think I've seen, but Mickey has got the jump and P1 into turn 1, and Vipermon followed him into P2. Oh. Vipermon's just been tagged by DXmon though, got all out of shape. Ovnoa's had a shocking start down to P4.
Spark spun.
Spark has spun, and so did Firestrike there, and Frosty not having a great time of things.
Oh, Cozzy!
Cozzy in the wall.
He's alive.
And just about didn't DNF there. And I'm going to move back further up the field here as Phoenix was looking quite punchy on Churchy for a second there. And still kind of is. Rapid Mickey already pulled 6 tenths to Vipermon there. Obviously the tap at turn 2 not helping matters there. And Sandy also, I think, just spun through the S section. And oh, there's an AlphaTauri off at the hairpin. It's dead heat, and he spun round, and he also has front wing damage, so the AlphaTauri's really not having a good first lap at all. And the Alpine of Frogman also had a poor time of things at the hairpin.
Yeah, Wolf had a disaster first lap because his AI just took over for him. Kizzy's up 8 places, great start for him. And Ovnoa started on pole position, already down into 4th, so not ideal start for him, dropping 3 places.
Oh, here goes Ovnoa down the inside of DXmon, there might be contact. No, DXmon just manages to pull out of it. That was a really big dive bomb from Ovnoa. I kind of saw it coming with the slipstream through 130R being so powerful, but he just manages to avoid contact, and that could have been catastrophic there if DXmon didn't pull out under braking.
A bit of frustration creeping in for Ovnoa, potentially after that slow start. He'll be desperate to get back ahead of DXmon here. And he's staying quite close. Frogman and Dead Heat have had to pit, likely for front wing changes, as Ovnoa following really closely here. DXmon, he's got the pace on him. He just needs to find the right spot to overtake it. Vipermon getting really close to Mickey as well. 2 fights going on here, but we're going to look at Ovnoa here, who's getting really close. And Churchy looks like he's spun. He's down a few places. And now. Not quite for Of Noah here. He's still on the back of DXman, hanging on. And will he make a move into the hairpin? He's sizing up for it, but just a little bit too far back there. He's going to hold off and wait for a better opportunity. There's yellow flags everywhere at the moment. As Of Noah now drops a little bit back, and there's a virtual safety car.
It happens every race I commentate, and especially in ORL. Every time it's about to get good, there's always a VSC. It's just, we're not allowed to have a good race.
Yeah, well, this is a good battle up front between these four. Mickey and Viperbond having a close scrap, and Of Noah and DXman too. So once we get back underway, we should be able to see the resumption of these battles. And Phoenix is up into 6th. The Mercedes looking pretty good at the moment. Kizzy up 11 places off the start. That's a fantastic recovery from his qualifying ban.
Looks like, yeah.
And yeah,
I think Kizzy may be getting flashbacks from when he was at AlphaTauri earlier in the season. He used to just always, and I mean like...
Oh, he lost his front wing.
Oh, he lost his front wing. So what I'm going to say might not apply now, but he was always just stuck in proximity to his teammate. They were always just like P3 or 4, like just back to back with each other, and he just had that with Phoenix before he had to come in. But Kizzy maybe just always matching his teammates. It's probably a good thing, honestly, because you don't want the gap between teammates to be too severe.
Haroldinho, new front wing, and Zonic's new front wing too. So those are some pretty decent players that are having to come in, and Frogman picks up a drive through.
And I've just
speeding up
got Akemon's gotten a brilliant restart here, and he was right behind Rapid Mickey, and I think he'll continue to attack him. And the slipstream, I must say, through this next part of the track is really strong, and Mickey's gotten a pretty poor exit, so Vipermon, if he maybe turns on his battery, it doesn't look like he is. The slipstream's quite powerful through here. He might have been able to go for a move, but maybe he's waiting for the final chicane dive bomb, because it is definitely possible with how powerful the slipstream is, especially through 130R. The cars, it seems like you just gain like 20 k's an hour on the car in front and you just zoom past. So we'll see what Vipermon does. He is deploying the battery here, so will he be able to...
This is the Vipermon we know and love, the strategic player that he knows he's faster than his opponents. He's just playing chess with him at the moment, and he's he knows he's got Mickey's measure, and he's just waiting for his opportunity. And now he's got the DRS here, so will he pressure for a move? Looks like he's just dropping back a little bit, and AlphaTauri stopped on track. I believe it's Sandy. And Of Noah, here we go, making a move around the outside of DXman. Can he keep it in the track? Oh, DXman just pushes him a little bit wide there. Of Noah won't be too happy about that. He'll come back at him. Milan is having a sneaky look behind as well. And we can just see how close Of Noah's getting to DXman here. Just waiting for that little opening. Waiting for a slight mistake from DXman here. And it's a poor exit for DXman. And Of Noah steps on the ARS, but it's not going to be enough to get through there. DXman running a little bit wide once again. Just teasing Of Noah with the opportunity here. And Of Noah's just waiting. He's losing time to the leaders. And here we go. Pulls out to the outside. Late braking for Of Noah. And DXman's a bit slow through that corner, and Of Noah's spun it round. And, oh, that's an unusual place to lose it. But Of Noah's round and down into 6th, 7th position there. So, but Milan is now taking his place as well, getting right on the back of DXman.
Yeah, that was interesting. It seemed like Of Noah kind of had no regard for DXman being on the inside, turned in. He half spun DXman, so they lost a bunch of time, and then it must have unsettled Of Noah's car, and so when he picked up the throttle, it just didn't really like it and spun around, and it's lost them tons of time to those top 2 drivers, and Of Noah's having to pay the price for what I must say was quite an aggressive move.
Yeah, it was very ambitious, so Milan now trying to hang on to the back of DXman. He's been the beneficiary of that battle, as Frosty and Firestrike exchanging places. It looks like Frosty's gotten through, and he should be able to hang on to that position. In the meantime, Spark gets past Firestrike as well. Spark is absolutely flying down the straight here. Spark versus Frosty into turn 1. Spark just pulls out. Oh, Frosty broke early, and Spark wasn't expecting it. Spark back up into his starting position of 9th. He'll be looking to, or he'll need to catch DXman for the championship position there. So He'll be definitely looking to get past with some urgency there.
Spark seems to be losing his pace as this season goes on, because, like... Oh, as Frosty's gone, he's spun around. Yeah, Sparks was really punchy at the start of the season, always fighting for those top 5 positions, and especially, I think, Singapore and it looks like Suzuka at the moment, he's just really not had pace.
Yeah, hasn't been the greatest second half of the season for Spark. Vipermon, in the meantime, is closer to Mickey than he has been in the last couple of laps. So we'll see what he can do down the back straight here. He's just stalking Mickey, staying within that range, about 3/10. He could probably get an overtake done if he was really desperate to, but he's just taking his time here. Could this be the opportunity for Vipermon? He's quite close. He'll have the DRS open, and he opens up the ERS, and now the DRS down the main straight. Is he going to go for it? Doesn't look like he's just holding back. Maybe just sitting in Mickey's slipstream, waiting for him to make a mistake, and putting the pressure on. There's a little opening down the inside, doesn't go for it. And patient driving from Vipermon.
I can't tell, because Mickey's using a lot of battery, so obviously that difference is pretty big, but also I can't tell if Mickey's also just using lower wing, because it looks like Vipermon is struggling to catch in a straight line, but that could just be purely Mickey's battery usage.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens once Mickey eventually runs out of battery, which could be pretty soon, as Vipermon continues to pile on the pressure. Milan still getting closer to DXman and Aston Martin versus a McLaren. We've got 2 Aston versus McLaren battles on track at the moment, with Ovnoa trying to catch Wolf and make up for some lost time there. As Phoenix is catching up to the back of the Milan DXman battle as well. But we'll go back up to the front and see what Vipermon's able to do here, as Churchy has to pit once again.
So, not a good race going on for Churchy and a couple of others right now. Obviously, those first 3 laps were quite hectic, a lot of front wings lost, but no DNF so far. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Have we even had a DNF-less race this season?
No, I don't think in history we've had a race without a DNF.
Yeah, so right now it's looking on target, but honestly I doubt it'll stay that way for very long. But it would be impressive to see the Div 2 drivers be the ones to pull off the first DNF-less race, as normally they're the more chaotic ones.
Yeah, you're right. It would be. I think it's definitely possible with this group of drivers. We've seen a lot of improvement from them this season. The only exception probably this race, Sandy is almost 2 laps down now, so he's really, really struggling.
Yeah, but yeah, I think as the season went on, it's just been getting better and better. Hungary was nearly DNF-less from Div 2, and then there was just one incident that caused a massive incident, because it caused a safety car, and then it was like 3 laps to go, and it just caused tons of carnage. Here we go, Ovnoa going for a move on SNF Wolf, around the outside of the Degners. What a move this would be! He backs out of it though. He had such a good run there, and he maybe could have committed, but you saw Wolf ran out wide, so it wouldn't have ended well for him if he had stuck it. Wolf, another driver who had a bad start because AI reversed on the grid. Very bizarre, but
yeah.
So Wolf also down the field, so probably similar pace to Ovnoa, to be fair.
Yeah, seems to be a weird glitch with if you're in AI off the start. So we saw it with Cloxon last week in Singapore, where his AI just took off and then DNF'd. But there's another yellow for Sandy there. Milan now up front, catching as well on DXman. And he breaks way too late, and he spins DXman around and loses his wing in the process. And Phoenix picks up the pieces there. Phoenix now in a podium position. Milan needs to pit, but Ovnoa's kind of blocked him from the pit entry there.
And also DXman will pick up a penalty there because he also reset the track.
Yeah, that's no good. So Milan probably picking up a penalty for that, and if DXman reset the track, that'll probably be a penalty for him as well. So yeah, Milan just losing a bit of concentration there, it looked like. Getting a bit too eager, so that's unfortunate for them. But Phoenix will be licking his lips at this opportunity. He's comfortably in 3rd now.
Yeah, it'd be an impressive result for Phoenix to get a podium, obviously. I think when he first came into Div 2, he struggled quite a bit. We've seen in recent races, though, he's had some pretty good pace, just sitting in the top 7 sort of area, just snagging some quiet points for Mercedes.
Yeah, so he'll be very happy with that. Vipemon is now even closer to Mickey. He's just sort of inching towards Mickey. And we'll see what he can do. Mickey is slowly but surely running out of ARS. So as that happens, you can see Vipemon is gaining. And
should be able to go for a move here.
Yeah, he's just waiting though. I don't think he'll make a move into the chicane here. And Mickey just playing defensive. And Haroldino picks up a penalty as well. So here goes Vipemon ARS.
He's using his battery.
He's draining it. He sees that Mickey is running out. He's got some speed here. Is he going to go for it down the inside for the lead of the race? Vipemon, he backs out, but Mickey goes off the track. The door's still open if he wants it, but he decides to sit back, and DXman's coming to the pits in the meantime. So Vipemon had a chance there, but just got a bit of cold feet there and just decided not to do it.
I think the outside's honestly the way to go. I don't know if you remember back to Season 1. You and I, J-Man, I had a brilliant move right around the outside because there's just so much grip on the outside of Turn 1.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it closes off very quickly down at Turn 1, so being on the inside is not always the best place to be. DXman and Milan have both pitted for new front wings, so we'll see how what their pace is like. They'll be close to each other again on track 2, so that battle could be resumed.
Another battle that's starting to form here, potentially Frosty versus Firestrike. Frosty getting kind of close to Firestrike, but he has made a couple of mistakes through the S's and lost just a little bit of time. But that could be an interesting watch if this Ovnoa SNF Wolf fight or Vipemon and Mickey fight doesn't really end up going anywhere.
Yeah, Firestrike's had himself a good little race here. Hasn't had probably the best results this season. He's had a couple real stinkers, but yeah, he's looking to he take a liking to Japan. We'll see how well he goes the rest of the race, but it's been a good start from him.
Yeah, so Frosty getting really close there. He's just, every time he inches closer to Firestrike, he then makes a mistake. Because actually, Firestrike just made a huge mistake, and that should allow Frosty to very much get alongside and maybe even go for a move in 130R. Very similar to maybe a Fernando Alonso type move in 2006, but no, he just gets it done before it even starts. But Ovnoa getting very close to the back of Wolf there, only 1.5 tenths but separated between them going into turn 1 there. So this is going to be the fight to watch on track now, I think, as Ovnoa just burning all the battery he possibly can, but so is Wolf, really. They're on similar amounts. Ovnoa just has that little bit less as it's the yellow flag, it's dead heat, so the Alpha Tower is just really not having a good race here. But Ovnoa, look at how close he is. He clearly has a lot of extra pace over Wolf here. Maybe not a lot, but at least enough to go for a move, so we'll see where he decides to pick to send it.
Yeah, it's been Ovnoa just spent a few laps behind Wolf. It's similar to Vipemon and Mickey. They've just been struggling to get through. Maybe a bit more straight line speed from the cars in front, making it a bit more difficult. And just having a look down the order, Haroldinho. So Milan's really dropped off in pace. He's dropped 7 seconds to DXman after pitting, and now is being pressured by Haroldinho. As we look back up towards Vipemon here, down the main straight. The chess game continues. He's put on the ARS. He's got the DRS open. Will he go for the move this time? He's absolutely flying here down the main straight, Vipemon. There should not be any trouble for him now as he takes the lead of the race. For the first time, Mickey dives back down the inside. Vipemon gives him the space to do so. Vipemon has the inside line to the next corner. Mickey breaks later and gets the position back, and that's very handy from Mickey. Vipemon gave him probably a bit too much respect there, and Mickey makes his way back through into the lead.
Yeah, but Vipemon's a very safe driver. I think if you remember back to Australia, so the first round, obviously it was a 3-car fight for P1. Vipemon obviously saved battery, much like he's doing now, but he's also just leaving a lot of space for his competitors, just making sure that he doesn't crash. It's such a smart thing to do. Just, it doesn't matter if you're not getting the move done. He has all this time to get the move done, so why cause an incident just trying to force it?
Yeah, it was a bit unusual into turn 1. I thought with the distance he had onto Mickey, he could afford to just cut in front of him a little bit, but Nart decided to give him the space, and good respect there. Mickey went for the dive bomb and it worked out, and now he's got a little bit of time gained on Vipemon, so we'll see what he can do with that. as we look back towards of Noah here, who's still closing on Wolf. And we're getting around towards the pit window time. And this pair's also catching up to Phoenix. Phoenix 10 seconds back from the leaders. And Wolf now closing to about a second off Phoenix as Mickey does come into the pits. So it'll be interesting to see if Vipermon can overcut Mickey here on the pit stops.
Ooh, Cozzy's
out. Retired. Has that just timed perfectly for Mickey if there's a safety car? But it doesn't look like it.
Well, there goes the DNF-less race.
Yep, so Cozzy out, unfortunately, but doesn't cause any safety car, which is good, so we can get some more racing. Wolf makes it a 3-car battle, and Mickey joining, he's 8 seconds back, so he's not quite there yet. Could be an interesting battle coming up here between these three, though.
Yeah, so Vipermon has had the outright pace on Mickey, so I think the overcut should work a treat for him, honestly. I think he'll get the position, maybe use a bit of his battery now, make sure he pulls off the overcut, and then he can go back to saving it while he's defending from Mickey.
Yep, he's got about 20 seconds to him at the moment, so Mickey on the cold tyres will probably struggle to initially get some pace here. And we'll see how hard Phoenix defends Wolf here, because he could end up pushing Wolf back into Ovnoa, and that could definitely help. But we'll see what times the cars pit here as well, which will be an interesting factor as there's a yellow. That's the AlphaTauri once again.
So, Honda-powered cars, except for Frosty, just having an absolutely shocking race.
Yeah. Sandy's left as well.
Another fight to watch here is potentially Kizzy versus the X-Men. They've been quite close for a little while. Nothing's quite happened, but I think Kizzy's been a lot closer.
Phoenix and Wolf into the pits of Noah stays out. And Wolf gets a 5-second for speeding. That is a costly one. So we'll see what of Noah. Can he overcut both of them? Vipermon stays out another lap, so obviously... So probably means he won't get the overcut, but he wants the fresher tyres, as there's an Alpine that just went off as well. Didn't quite catch who that was.
Probably Frogman. Frogman's the only Alpine in the race.
Yeah, so Vipermon still cruising.
Oh, Frosty in the wall at turn 1, outside of turn 1.
Yeah, he's managed to avoid the DNF though, so no safety car there either. So we've been pretty lucky here to avoid safety cars so far today, so we hit about half distance. Mickey's starting to catch Vipermon, so the overcut might be a bit 50-50 at the moment if Vipermon pits this lap.
Vipermon's definitely going to pit this lap. Look at his battery, he's just burned all of it.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit touch and go here for Vipermon and Mickey. Mickey's going to be flooring it as well.
This is going to be very
in
close.
Comes Vipermon.
So let's go on board with Vipermon as he heads into the pit lane. He might just get this. Might just.
Yeah. Mickey's just coming through now to the final chicane. So it's going to be very, very, very tight as Ovnoa comes into the pits as well. So we'll see where he comes out relative to Phoenix and Wolf as Wolf gets past Phoenix. That could be crucial in the battle as well. Yeah, Vipermon coming out of the pits. Mickey sets the fastest lap. It's going to be very close. Oh. Mickey's got him. Oh. Mickey stays in front for the moment. Vipermon on the cold tyres will probably drop a little bit. Ovnoa coming out of the pits too. Wolf is now hurtling down the main straight. Will he get ahead of Ovnoa? Ovnoa looks to have gotten the overcut. So the extra lap staying out for Vipermon probably cost him there, but fresh tyres for Ovnoa through this first sector can be a difficult beast to handle, and Wolf could definitely get quite close here as well.
Yeah, so a lot of action going out on track now. Look at Phoenix behind Wolf and Ovnoa here. He's going to be pushing quite hard. This could turn into quite a good scrap. Obviously, Wolf with that 5-second might just decide to not battle and not lose more time than he needs to. Just pop out of the way, but I don't think that's the type of driver Wolf is. Wolf will fight to the end, I think.
Yep, so Wolf now catching Ovnoa. Ovnoa will be desperate for those tyres to warm up, so he can get Wolf off his back, but he's done well to get that overcut, and it puts him back into the podium positions, which is a good recovery for him. He'll struggle to catch Vipermon and Mickey from there, though, 12 seconds back. but with Wolf behind him, they both have similar pace, so it's gonna take a very good move for Wolf to get through here.
So Wolf he also doesn't have a lot of battery, and Ovnoa just burning it all. So even though the slipstream's very powerful through this part of the racetrack, I think the ERS is just a bit more powerful. And the line difference through 130R is definitely different between Ovnoa and Wolf there. The faster line, and even with the slipstream, it's a lot faster. Just cutting across like it's not even a proper corner with a proper racing line. Just ignore the curve on the right-hand side. Just stick as far left as possible. With the way the scrubbing off of speed works on F1 is actually quite significantly faster. But
there's another penalty for Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf running out wide at 130R instead of sticking across. It's not like it really matters now anyway, to be fair, with his 8 seconds worth of time penalties.
Nearly dropped it.
Wolf nearly dropped it. He went out on the grass. So that brings
I was looking at it. No, he spun it around as well, so they both had a bit of trouble there. Phoenix now closing in as Haroldinho comes into the pits as well. So J. Milan's really had a shocker. He's dropped down to 14th alongside Frosty in 13th.
Yeah, obviously a couple of drivers' races falling away with the pit stops, but I think a couple of those people who pitted lap 1 though for wings and stuff, making up positions, they'll have to pit again.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll look at the tyre situation here. So yeah, Churchy on 9-lap-old hards, he'll definitely struggle to defend from the drivers behind there as well. And Phoenix just dropping away. Ovnoa's pulled away from Wolf there. And Vipermon has closed the gap too, so it was around 2 seconds, now down to 1.2. So Vipermon will be catching Mickey at a rate of knots later on. Yeah. And DXman down in 6 as well. He's quietly making his charge.
I think Vipermon, even now, though there's 10 laps to go in this race, well, 11 laps, Vipermon might start to think about pushing a bit harder and maybe finally just committing and sticking to a move. I think probably around now would be smart. Obviously, he could go and risk it and wait really late and then not get it done, but I think it'd be smarter to go for it sooner rather than later. And the battery difference has started to spike again. Vipermon hasn't used any battery since he came in. So he's just, because he was on 17% and came out with 17%, and now he's on like 47%, and Mickey's just running really low. So that'd also be why that gap hadn't really started to close until now, because Mickey can't use as much.
Yeah, so Vipermon back in DRS range, and he should make a pretty easy job of this, you would think. He's got 11 laps to work with to get past Mickey, but I assume he wouldn't want to wait that long.
Going around the outside at turn 1 on Frosty, can't quite pull off the move, but he goes for a switchback, gets all out of shape. And, ooh, that was nearly his race over very quickly there.
Yeah, the Milan and Frosty are probably the ones that will be hoping for a safety car late to get themselves back into the race, because they have been struggling since the early stages as well.
Yeah, I think Milan was looking for a solid result there, but I don't know what happened when he pitted. Maybe, I don't know if he made a mistake on entry or something like that, but was it from his incident at the chicane?
Could have been, but here goes Vipermon very close. Ovnoa setting the fastest lap, so now that he's away from any battling, he's able to show off his pace. And now Vipermon still chasing down Mickey. He's down to 3/10, closing constantly. So Mickey really has got to drive well if he wants to keep Vipermon behind. He's driven a gallant race so far as Mickey. So we'll see if he can hang on. He does deserve a win here. I don't think he's picked one up this season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, he has not. He's had a very, very bad season. We were talking about it in qualifying. Is actually here. Vipermon got a very nice exit there, but decides to maybe just back out, wait for the chicane or turn 1. But yeah, we were talking about it in qualifying, how Mickey really has had a poor season. It's costing Ferrari dearly in the constructors fight, but so is Haroldinho. But this could finally be a new leaf turned here for Mickey, finally having a good, strong result. Maybe we can see a late charge for Ferrari here. Obviously, they can't win the championship or anything major like that, but they can definitely start to score a couple more points in the hands of Mickey.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to make any rash decisions here, and we'll see now. Vipermon will crack open the DRS, and will he go for the move? Right now, he's closing pretty quickly, but it looks like he's just holding off a little bit. He's going to get quite close, but he's not going to go for it. He breaks very early there.
Yeah, Mickey
Just avoiding any trouble. Frosty looks to have had an off in Sector 2. And yeah, his race turns from bad to worse as Kizzy gets past Spark in the meantime as well. And all the drivers have mainly spread out except for these lead two. It's the main battle going on track at the moment.
Yeah, and I think now Mickey is truly in trouble because he has got quite literally no battery nearly, and Vipermon's still sitting at like 60%. With 9 laps to go, you'd think finally this would be an easy move, but we were saying that all through the first stint when it looked all the same as it does now, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, Vipermon now has dropped back a little bit as Phoenix picks up a penalty. That'll be costly. That drops him a place behind DXman. DXman is in front of Wolf and Phoenix after penalties, so I think he'd be pretty content with 4th, but obviously he wants more than that, so he'll be hoping to get past those two and try and challenge off Noah. Will probably be his main target for the rest of the race. Vipermon it went very fast into that chicane there. He might lose a little bit of time on the exit, and he's slowly running out of laps to get this move done. If I was Vipermon, I'd be a little bit more keen to get it going, and as I say that, he's absolutely flying once again here, Vipermon, but not yet for that move. Mickey very slow through there. He did just set the fastest lap of the race, Mickey, so he's really pushing hard. He's throwing everything in his defense of Vipermon here.
Yeah, and just to think how close these two drivers are, like, if you look at that, like, Mickey's just done fastest lap, and Vipermon didn't even lose a 10th over the course of the lap, so they are truly just within absolute milliseconds of each other when it comes to the lap time. Maybe, J-Man, if you want to go into the race director and compare their lap times.
Yeah, well, Vipermon just, like, yeah, you can tell he's got more pace in him as well. So he's just been waiting patiently, yeah, so Vipermon's just been setting, he's been setting 1:33.2s pretty much every single lap that he's been on the hards. If we have a look at Mickey, yeah, he's setting 1:33.7s pretty consistently as well. So just around the same, about 5/10ths difference between them two. But Vipermon, yeah, he's just been so consistent, and it just continues to show it today.
Yeah, Vipermon really showing in this race truly why he's the champion here. It's not just down to the ability to win races, it's down to the ability to play consistently like this and be able to just really stay cool-headed in these sort of situations. But if I was Vipermon now, he really, these last 7 laps, he's gonna really need to be going for a move soon.
Yep, and Noah goes faster again, so he's catching the lead too by a little amount, but definitely not substantial enough. He's going to need to catch by over a second a lap if he wants to challenge him. But the podium looks to be pretty set in stone at the moment. Noah would be picking up his 4th consecutive ORL podium, his 3rd consecutive Div 2 podium, which is one of the more impressive things we've seen for a first outing in a league, as Churchy gets through on Fire Strike pretty comfortably as well. So Churchy back up into 9th. He's had a nice recovery. His tyres probably will fall off towards the end though. We'll see how long he can hold on to them for.
I just want to bring note to the fact that if there's a safety car very soon, we could see a very similar situation to what you and I had, J-Man, back in Season 1. There was a safety car literally in this exact situation. We were about 5/10 separated, and we were both on the hards, and there was a late safety car. And
Ferrari off.
Ooh.
Aldino spun it, but he's back on the track.
Yeah, it'd be an absolute carbon copy, and it would be quite cool to see, obviously. And I think it'd be a
Here
very
comes
similar
Vipermon
situation.
though. Down the main straight, he is very close. Is he going to go the inside or outside? He's going to go to the outside. Mickey pushing him all the way. He has no ERS left whatsoever, but he's powerless to defend the move of Vipermon there. He tries to have a sneaky look down the inside, but there was nothing he could do as Vipemon, the move we've been waiting for all afternoon, finally gets it done. The game of chess is complete, you would have thought, unless Mickey has something special left in the tank, but incredible work from Vipemon. Just the ultimate patient game. He waited 20 laps to do it, and now he's in the lead.
Yeah, truly, 20 laps of sitting behind. It must have been so tempting to just send it every now and again, but he's managed to play it patient, and now it's pretty much check here and 6 laps until he crosses the line, and it will be checkmate in this little battle here going between these two drivers. Mickey has fought so hard here to try and get his first win this season, but it looks like Vipemon, with only 6 laps to go, has finally gone for it and finally just ripped away that hopes of a win. But I think this could still be Mickey's first podium of the season.
Yeah, I reckon he has picked up a podium. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he might have picked one up in Australia. But that was round
yeah, you
one,
might be right.
So that is still a really long time to wait for another podium, considering he was last season's champion. Obviously, he was rumoured to go up to Div 1 at the start of this season, but he did turn down some assists, so we gave him the benefit of the doubt to stay down. It's obviously proved the right decision to stay down in this lower div, as he really hasn't had a great season. But
Mickey flying with the DRS here. He's going to have a look down the inside. No, Vipemon defends it.
Ooh,
Mickey
tries,
hits him. Oh, Vipemon just keeps the car on. Mickey just had a little bit of a punch there. And Vipemon, he has done very well to keep the car moving forward there, but Mickey nearly just ended Vipemon's race in the blink of an eye. That would have been devastating. But they get away unscathed. A little bit of a heart attack there in the commentary box.
Oh
and,
my. Okay.
Yeah, that's stunning.
The Vipemon oh my god. How does he catch that? He was fully like 90 degrees sideways. He's just done a Ken block. He's just pulled it out from it's just unseen angle and caught it and somehow kept his race alive so he can still win this race. What on earth has just happened there? And that'll be a replay I think a lot of people will watch. I think a couple of people will rewatch that, and that was terrifying.
There's not much that man can't do. Frogman's been disqualified for going the wrong way.
How have you even done that? How can Frogman even do that?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused, but anyway. We're down to 16 drivers here. Vipemon out of DRS range of Mickey, so should be out of danger for the moment of any rash attempts from Mickey.
A new battle on track now forming though, DXman versus Phoenix. So this could be quite close. DRS obviously in the hands of DXman, but a lap car giving Phoenix DRS though, so that's going to be his saving grace. 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Will DXman be able to go for the move to get into the top 5? It'll be interesting to see, obviously, in the next couple of laps now. Phoenix won't have DRS, and they're on very similar battery, so this could be a very good watch till the end.
Yeah, same penalties as well. DXman on the slightly older tyres, so he'll be pretty interested in getting the move done here. Obviously no pressure behind him, Kizzy 25 seconds back. And yeah, he's got a little bit of time to play with. He's got 4 laps and he's got a great pace as well. So I would envision this as a pretty easy move for DXman, as long as he keeps it clean.
Yeah, I think it should be a good little scrap, but as you said, yeah, an easy move. I think we'll see in these next couple of laps' time. But maybe even on this lap, because he is very, very close behind, only 3/10, now 4 on the exit. We'll see what he can manage. Obviously, no DRS down this straight. The slipstream's super powerful. Imagine DRS down this straight as the slipstream powerful as it already is.
Yeah, just ever closing.
130. DXman very, very close. He should be able to go down the inside. He looks for it, but just gets out braked. And that was nearly close to a very nice move there. But DXman playing patient, kind of like Vipemon, but here now with the DRS, pulls to the outside. This is going to be very much like the move we saw Vipemon do on Mickey, and that is a job done. and shouldn't be any more problems. That's a yellow flag. It's Sparks.
Sparks going off. Phoenix keeping it nice and close here. Putting the pressure back on. Sparks has dropped down to 10th now after his little incident. Phoenix having a look at DX, but he's going to get a good run here, Phoenix. But just can't quite with the pace difference there. So DXman should be able to hang on to that one.
Yeah, so this is looking to be interesting. Phoenix very close. He looks down the inside at the hairpin. Can't quite get alongside, but now on the exit, he gets alongside, and now using all of it, the battery at his disposal, DXman has a little bit more as they head into Spoon Curve. DXman just managed to pull away with that little bit of extra battery, and now with Phoenix being out of battery, this could be interesting to see if he can have another fight back, or if now that is truly job done from DXman. But it's looking like he's still sticking
battle
quite close.
Between Spark, Milan and Churchy. Milan and Churchy went wheel to wheel through turn 1, but there was no... or Milan wasn't able to get through there. So Churchy just hanging on there. Is obviously aging tyres. And Spark is nipping at the heels after his spin as well. He's going to be keen to make those places up that he lost. And I believe it might be too late for a safety car now. So I think we've had our first Div 2 race with no safety car.
Via virtual though on lap 2.
Yeah, but not a full safety car.
Yeah, not a full safety car. Finally, a safety carless race in ORL. What? Holy moly!
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah, it's good to see Mickey's right back in Vipermon's DRS range.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, but also
interestingly,
they're on very similar batteries, but I just think 8/10 is just a little bit too much.
Spark went off the track there, getting ahead of Milan. So Milan is going to have the DRS. Is he going to have the speed? It doesn't look like it. But yeah, I just flicked a Spark and he was just off the track, and there's a Red Bull stopped on track. Frosty.
Yeah, I don't know. Frosty's had a poor race. Like, really poor. It looked like he was solidly in, like, the top 7, and then he had one spin, and then he's just been spinning ever since. But Mickey, maybe a late little charge here. 5/10 behind Vipermon.
Frosty's out.
Now 8/10 as Frosty, yeah, DNFs. So Mickey had a very good run into the chicane, had a bad run out of it, but he's just set a fastest lap, so really he is finding some pace here at the end of this race.
Yeah, Mickey, just one last late charge at Vipermon. He knows he really wants the win here. And I was just looking back at Frosty was on lap 24 and Sandy's on lap 22, which is just frankly unbelievable. Which means Sandy's 4 laps
Mickey
behind.
just had a massive moment there on the curb. He didn't have to correct too much, but it lost him quite a lot of time, and he really could have spun there. So that might just halt his little late charge here, but still only 6/10 behind Vipermon. So we'll have to see. This could be a really interesting finish to this Grand Prix with only 1 lap to go after this one. And Mickey just finding and putting all the cards on the table here, just seeing what he can throw at Vipermon. Will he be able to go for a move? Will he be able to just hold the position? But he'll obviously be looking to go for a move. Vipermon now will realise, oh no, I've probably got to push a little bit harder than I have been, and might be able to pull away. Obviously, he has had better pace all race, so we'll see what he can manage. And still, even though he doesn't have a lot of battery, Vipermon does have more than Mickey as they head into the final lap of this race now. Mickey only 3/10 behind Vipermon. Let's see how this last lap goes, as through the chicane, Mickey gets quite a good exit here. Battery on, and DRS will open soon, but Vipermon also using his 20% battery, and Mickey is out of battery, so I think that might be his last final chance, and he hasn't been able to get it done, but there is still the run into the final chicane. Mickey really is going to push now as they enter the S's. To the left and then back to the right. The dirty air is super crucial through here. He wants to try just take minimally different lines while still gaining. Vipermon ran a bit wide there, so Mickey's late race charge still on here. I think the only overtaking opportunity he has here is going to be into the final chicane, but maybe if he gets a good run through the Degners, the hairpin here. Let's see how he gets through the Degners quite nicely, but so did Vipermon. So the final chicane is going to be the last opportunity he has in this Grand Prix. Will Mickey be able to go for it? I don't honestly think so, but this is going to end up being very close to the end here.
Yeah, Mickey just throwing everything he's got. He's saved up a little bit of ERS for this last bit of track here. So he's going to have one last gasp here as Vipemon, not the greatest exit there. Here goes Mickey down the back straight. He's 4/10ths back. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough here. He's had a gallant fight back, but it looks like Vipemon is going to hang on here. Mickey, I'm not sure where he found all that late race pace from, but it's not going to be enough in the end as Vipemon now comes into the final chicane, and he's going to hold off the charge from Mickey. He sat behind for 20 laps. He played the patient game. Another unbelievable drive from the champion as Vipemon crosses the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix, followed by Mickey in second. And Of Noah comes home to round out the podium in third. Great drive from Vipemon. Great drive from Mickey as well. But Vipemon on top again.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was really close at the end there. Vipemon just had an incredible exit with his remaining battery out of Spoon Curve and was just able to hold on because they were 3/10 separated before the exit. If Vipemon had the same amount of battery as Mickey, I think Mickey might have gone for a move into the final chicane.
Yeah, well, yeah, great effort from Mickey there in the end. The McLarens come 4th and 5th, and the Mercedes will come 6th and 7th as Kizzy had a quiet race, just sort of made his way through the field, and he finishes 7th. I think at the start of the day he would have been happy with that result, considering he had to start plumb last on the grid. And Churchy will come home in 8th, a penaltyless race for him. And he was in trouble early on, but he's found his way home into 8th. And Spark close behind him in 9th, and Milan will round out the points in 10th for your top 10 this afternoon. So a good Div 2 race, no safety cars, 3 DNFs. There weren't any major incidents apart from Milan and DXmond, and an almost disaster with Vipemon, but the cleanest race we've seen in Div 2 so far. They just keep getting better.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic race, I've got to say. Like, take a bow, Div 2, because you are really ramping it up here, and if Div 1's anything like that, this is going to be a really good weekend for racing.
Yep. So Vipemon, yet another win. I'm not sure how many it is now this season.
He's just unstoppable.
It might be his 7th win, actually.
Yeah, I'm just going to ping everyone to get in the call for interviews.
Vipemon's 7th win for the season.
We just need to move into the comms VC. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Roll comms VC. Okay, so I've just pinged them, so just get ready to drag them, J-Man.
May. Can you do it?
Well, I mean, I think I can, yeah. I was just getting something ready with my game. I'm gonna go to the car preview screen. Alright, we just gotta wait for...
Oh, Vipemon. The race winner once again. Just beautiful drive from you. Talk us through your strategy there. Just sitting behind Mickey, waiting for the right opportunity. What was going through your head during the race today?
Yeah, I felt like I had a lot more pace in that medium stint. I was just getting a bit stuck with the dirty air and just kind of sitting behind, waiting for him to make a mistake. Tried to get the overcut, didn't quite work out. Had a bit of a snap through turn 1, and I lost about 2 seconds from it. But we got back past Mickey, and Mickey kept the pressure on throughout the race, which was quite good fun.
Yeah, very controlled race. Lindsay, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, Vipon obviously had a little bit of extra battery at the end, but do you think you had the extra pace to hold Mickey back, or did Mickey just really find and ramp up that extra pace at the end, and did you think you were potentially going to lose that position?
Yeah, I knew he was going to come back strong apart in the last few laps because I could see he was not quite staying with me, so I knew he was charging his battery. So in those last few laps, I was making sure I was just trying not to use any battery, try and keep it for the last lap, and yeah, it kind of worked out. So he was quite on me though. So
Yeah, you just about kept it. Obviously, just you stayed behind him for 20 laps. Obviously, it must have been a little bit annoying at times, I imagine. But yeah, you just really proved why you're the champion there and what it takes to be a champion.
yeah, I reckon Mickey, if he stayed ahead of me for a few more laps, I reckon I wouldn't have any more answers for him. So he raced well today. So good to see him on the podium.
You had that one incident with him there where he nearly punted you. That was a really good display of car control. I think we had a heart attack here in the comms box. What was your reaction to it?
It was very similar to off the start as well. The X-Men did the exact same thing to me.
Was it a bit of a code brown there for you?
Yeah, just a little. I had a few incidents in practice, with my teammate, and I had a bit of practice saving it, so worked out.
Yeah, just about. Obviously, that was a really great display of car control. I thought it was game over there, but just about kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great race.
Got any other interviews, or is that all?
Mickey isn't joining, so and neither is Ovnoa. Ovnoa never joins, but Mickey sometimes tries, but he didn't this time. So that'll be all. Thank you, Vipermon, for your time, and that was Div 2. Very exciting race, obviously. Div 1 at 5 o'clock, so in about an hour and 15 minutes. And I don't know what the comms situation is for that. I imagine Vipermon, you're on comms for it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, is Melbourne? We'll figure that out.
Melbourne's not. I think he's away at the moment.
I might join you in the comms box then, but we'll see you for Div 1 at 5.
Yep.